Well, I like the response from Neon. Yes, you let the Tiny through, and Execration snag it, but I think the Nick Storm is a really good
Ten
answer to the Keeper of
seconds
the Lie.
remaining.
We've seen this is a combo that
Radiant team ban.
Patriots in particular like to run, the Nick Storm and some other Southeast Asian teams, but you have an information hero that can. You have someone that can gain information and someone that can use information perfectly. And of
Yep.
course, those two heroes can very easily get on top of the Keeper of the Light.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Yeah, I mean, even just using the Spike Carapace for a full use of the Illuminate can end up devastating a Coddle, allowing the Storm Spirit the time that he needs to zip on in. You don't want to be forcing a BKB reactionary just to a Nyx Assassin wanting to
Radiant
use the
team ban.
Carapace. And then we've seen plenty of times anyone with a cleave mechanic, Nyx Assassin can punish them if they're looking to farm in the jungle without the ward, Sentry Ward, excuse me, to be able to protect them. So we'll see if Execration are on point. We saw in that game number one, Vincenzo's at least observer warding was
Remaining.
fantastic, right? Scouting out the Shadow Demon multiple times with that unorthodox one
5
around their own
seconds
triangle, and the game-winning observer ward as well on the cliff, just providing them all the vision they could possibly need for that last team fight.
Yeah, I think we were both very impressed with the wards that we saw from Execration through that game. I think the big one in particular that also stood out for me was the ward by Radiant's triangle, kind of to the south by the stairs to lead into it.
Dire team ban.
So I think that was, like you said, a big reason why they were able to put themselves in prime
Dire
position
team picked. Radiant
to take that
team
game
picked.
too. But we
Grimstroke.
get the good old Grimstorm
Another
combo.
enabler.
Yep, there you go. Like you said, another enabler.
Just give me a DK. Give me something else that's going to put pressure on the other side of the map, and it's a little bit harder to kill, even with all these enabling tools. I feel like you need to try and put the pressure
10
on
seconds
to have the
remaining.
Storm Spirit or the Nyx Assassin respond to tower pushes instead of
5
invading the
seconds
Tiny
remaining.
or the Keeper of the Light. Also, by doing that, it doesn't reveal too much of anything. Still keeps the flex of this Coddle being a position 4 or mid. So if I'm Execration, I'm picking DK plus a position 5 at this stage. Maybe what would be good here?
Radiant team
An
picked.
instant stun of some sort.
Dragon Knight.
Not an ogre. Not a hoodwink. I mean, they could just Bane, right? Bane, Shadow Demon.
10 seconds
Could, but I'm a bit
remaining.
concerned that what do those heroes do really as a
5
as a
seconds
storm's going to jump with Inkswell and Nyx that scouts? That's my concern. I feel like they need to play the backline, and if Neon goes for like a vision hero
Can they IO?
on Execration,
Yeah. If it's a mid coddle, you have Boots of Travel. You have plenty of, you know, AoE, global teleport stuff. You'll also be able to go into the Ag Shard for the recall. You go up against a Nyx Assassin, so it makes that early tower push just so devastating. I kind of
Yeah.
like it.
yeah,
It's
they
not great against the Storm, but
Dire team pick.
Okay.
it's the instant sun. So gives tower push as well. Don't hate that either.
Radiant
Again, man, it's
team
2 drops in a
ban.
row. I'm just in Execration's head.
I didn't think they. I was gonna mention the shaman. I just didn't think they'd go down that route because I think you have ways to make the shaman game a bit more difficult. Nyx can always instantly cancel. Grimstroke can always instantly
10
cancel with
seconds
Phantom.
remaining.
You can now just send illusions at shaman, and they don't deal with illusions very
5
well. Like
seconds
Execration, a
remaining.
bit. They're a bit single target
Dire
burst. I know
team
Tiny's
ban.
got some cleave. DK's got a little bit of AoE. You're going to put Coddle, I think, now as a position 2. But can you even play Coddle as a 2? Because if you give the farm priority to Coddle, then I think Storm and Nyx will kill you through the entirety of the game, and all of a sudden it's like a waste of giving this to Bob.
10 seconds remaining.
I get what you're saying. Another question is, this is probably a Chuan Nyx Assassin,
5
right? So he's
seconds
going to be
remaining.
playing the position 5. If you run the Keeper of the Light into that, then your Illuminate is pretty useless, right? Because you're always going to have that damage turned around onto you. So I feel like it's a little bit of a risk to run it in that 4 role. So there's bad points to both sides. I mean, that's the danger of
Radiant
having this
team
first pick
ban.
overall and going something like the Coddle, even though it has the flex potential. It seems like they've addressed it across the board.
Yeah, I think Neon have done a really, really good job with their draft so far. Now it's just how you can try and set yourselves up. Execration have this 23rd
10
pick, so they're
seconds
trying
remaining.
to take away some of Tino's heroes, it looks like. Legion's
5
banned out.
seconds
Of course, there's some
remaining.
flex. You
Dire
could give
team ban.
the DK over to Tino and then still look for position 2, or you give the Coddle to Bob. So there's a little bit of flex, but at least Neon are reading that Tino's hero is still lost.
Radiant team pick.
They're seeming to think that this is a mid Dragon Knight and a 4 Coddle. At least with the bans coming out, right?
Yeah, well, that's by the looks of it that they're looking for Tino's hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay. I mean, DK's fine against the Storm Spirit, right? But
5 seconds remaining.
they wouldn't Nature's Prophet, would they? Just go full rat?
I don't think we'll see 3 Nature's Prophet. I think it's...
You never know. Could be a 5 Nature's Prophet.
Dire team pick.
Timber Spirit.
It's a instant
It's another
pick.
one of these heroes that can get caught out, though, by the Nyx Assassin, right? You got Flame Guard running, Carapace, very easy to zip in and kill. Tron clearly very comfortable on that Nyx.
I like Neon's draft. We've seen Southeast Asia put a little bit more emphasis on the Doom whenever the Tiny's been played, just because of the percent damage in Infernal Blade. It's also going to be very handy versus the Dragon Knight. It's...
Doom for the Ember.
Yep, Doom for the Ember. You have double Doom as well with Grimstroke. So you've got good team fight. You've got multiple ways to start fights. You've got a win condition in Asta that can take objectives. I think even your safe lane's not as weak as well, because Terrorblade's quite a strong laner. But Coddle and DK could be a bit annoying, because they kind of can Dragon Tail stun into Illuminate spam, and Asta doesn't have the greatest health pool, so that could be a concern for Neon. But I really like the lineup they have and how it should shape up in this next game.
Yeah, the only real weakness I'm seeing from their lineup, they're not going to defend all that well against the heavy push that Execration have. And their only way to take towers is with this Terrorblade. So it's a lot being put onto the back of Storm and Grim to be able to defend or find pickoffs before they're able to push. And it's a lot on them to actually coordinate so that Asta is part of those successful team fights, so that you can convert a successful team fight with Metamorphosis into more objectives.
Okay, well, we get another very good carry-to-carry matchup as well with the Terrorblade into the Tiny. We spoke a lot about the Dusar being favored in that matchup. It can go back and forth. I think that's a really nice thing about Tiny, probably because he's the most broken carry at the moment. Tiny against Lifestealer, against Dusar, Ursa, Terrorblade, whatever it is. You do have big windows in a game still be able to win. It's not like you pick this carry counter and it's like, oh shit, we're in a really bad position. We have to rely on someone else. Yeah, it's really not like that. So this is the thing about the Tiny, that he's not cooldown dependent. You, again, are going to be able to farm incredibly fast. We saw the Moonshard build in game 1 from Palos. I can't expect it to be anything different. So, like you said, this is a lineup that Execration can really push the tempo and take over. I think we're going to be looking at BKBs for all 3 cores, and I feel like that's often we see a lot so far through this meta. Of course, there's a lot of spell damage at the moment, where we're not getting these crazy physical damage strats like we were getting maybe 2 months ago. So BKBs are ridiculously important, I think, especially for Radiant in their lineup to excel.
I wonder what Shanks is going to go for as well. Like, from the very start of the game, he had the Aghanim Scepter queued up for his Mirana. And I wonder if it's going to be the same this time around. You know, if there was... Like, their AoE team fight is actually pretty decent already, but it never hurts to have more, right? Like, you want to make sure that the Terrorblade illusions aren't going to be as effective. So if you can have that Ignis Fatus to be able to
Ignis
protect
Fatus.
I love it.
I think the Southeast Asia region is actually the one I've been
30
surprised on that
seconds
hasn't put
to battle.
emphasis on the Will-O-Wisp, whereas I've seen a little bit more in other regions, especially especially Western Europe. They really like the Ags on Coddle, which I'm a bit surprised by that we haven't seen. Because yeah, like you take a look at Radiant, their team fight control is big ultimates, I suppose, is kind of lacking. So if you want to go down that route, but I guess then again, illusions can always be a nice way to be able to deal with the white hole.
Battle begins.
When they're able to hit it, that is. They've got a lot of lockdown, that's for
Yeah.
sure. DK stun, chains, hex, shackles, even just the blind from the coddle. Tiny, of course, avalanche. It's a lot.
All right. Well, again,
The
it's
Vincenzo fight.
we have
Those, like we were talking about, sorry, that you were saying, lots of the magic damage for the laning stage, particularly against this Terrorblade. Shanks is going to put a lot more emphasis onto him.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how the Shaman 5 is going to shape up as well. It's something that we actually got to, I think, cast twice. Solo played it twice, right? Or was it just the once?
Yep.
Yeah, and he
Played it twice.
He looked really good on it. It's pretty greedy as a 5. He's a good laner. You can harass nice with Ethershock. What do you actually feel like the weaknesses are with putting him as a 5 maybe instead of like a 4?
Well, most of the time, the enemy offlane is much more of a kill lane, right? And Shadow Shaman has such a low attack range that you oftentimes put yourself in a little bit more danger. This time around, not so much, right? You're up against a Doom, so it's not as bad.
You reckon this not a kill lane? I reckon this a kill lane.
As much.
Okay.
I'm talking like compared to a Mars or a DK or a Chaos Knight, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I do think when he gets 2 points Scorched Earth, then it gets to that stage. But I do know what you mean. I do agree as well that it's not like some of those other lanes where Vincenzo, well, it looks like Jing might just solo kill the Shaman. He needs one more right click, but the Tango region will start to add up.
He's got the Fairy Fire as well, but he's already almost completely out of mana here as well. And Ryu's going to be able to take the Hill Troll Priest away. It's a nice little passive healing coming through for him. Good 3/4 pull by Vincenzo, though.
Top lane, Shanks. He's going to go down. Asta finds our first blood, and Chuan, he was just able to step in, get a stun, easy like that. And now Vincenzo,
Is he body blocking?
he's going to be killed off as well as Jing. Oh, well, this time we won't let the Shaman get away.
Death is your true value.
Was he body blocking as well on Chuan? I didn't quite see.
I
Seemed like it.
just saw the end. I saw the stun, and he was weak enough where Asta got 2 hits, and I don't think he needed the body blocks.
Okay. So, things going well for Neon so far.
Appreciate it.
Avatar mode having actually probably a less than ideal time in this lane, already taking a lot of harass through from Bob.
Keep out.
Let's just go on the very standard build. Phase boots, Orb Corrosion. Look to use your physical damage as much as possible. Of course, it's not going to do quite as much against the Terrorblade, but I feel like you're not really as concerned about that, at least at the super early stages.
It's like our mid lane, though, relatively even. Bob's actually doing a bit better than what I was expecting. Maybe Avatar mode can find a kill. Got the Remnant available once he enters the high ground if he wants to go for the proc, but not going to be the case.
Got coming out to him now. Just the Blightstone. Assist with a little bit more of that harass, looking to come through to the Storm Spirit as he takes away the
Oh,
rune.
Vincenzo.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, can you expect a Storm Spirit to be here at this stage, though? Like,
yeah, well,
in all honesty.
they saw him. I'm almost certain they saw Storm venturing this way, and where else would he be? Maybe clearing a small camp, maybe getting their own bounty, but I'm almost certain Bob saw him walking down bottom. But you get the kill, Avatar mode TP's back, and Jing's going to deny himself to the tower.
I can understand him getting thinking he was there to get the bounty rune, but typically you want to make sure you're getting straight back to the lane to contest a lot of these last hits. I mean, look at what it means, right? You were saying that it was going a little bit better for Bob in the early game. Avatar mode with the previous creep wave was able to even that up, but with that rotation, even though it actually wasn't even him that got the kill, so with Shadow Shaman claiming it, Ember Spirit, it just allows him to extend his lead a little bit. I mean, he's up by more than half a level.
Yeah, and also the experience. So the net worth is about 200 advantage for the Ember at the moment. So, very good start for Bob on his Ember Spirit. I'm keeping tabs on top. We've got the meta second one available for Asta, but we are seeing how this lane can kind of shape up. Just Dragon Tail into Illuminate span, and then Asta can never really play aggressively.
Trying to use the stun there was Chuan. Obviously not going to do too much damage to Tino, but just wanted to prevent that breathe fire onto the Terrorblade. Luckily enough, he's got the raindrops though, so ends up blocking up every little bit of damage. This is a decent little stack here that he's built up for himself on Shanks. Asta doesn't really want to just walk up into this.
Death and gold are linked.
Yeah, Shanks is... Have you seen this? It's not a crazy build, but it's just null first on the Keeper of the Light position 4. Is this something that you've often been seeing on the Coddle supports?
Not often, but I feel like one null talisman, even for one of those basic items, you know, Bracer, null talisman, Wraithband, probably null in particular, is just so much value. You know, you get the diminishing returns after that fact, so supports, it's well worth getting.
And I guess just often you're going to be giving chakra to a lot of your teammates, so it's nice to just have that mana loss reduction. Mana cost, I should say. Bob? See if he's going to be able to get this. Actually, Jinx snags the Arcane. It's nicely done for the Grimstroke. Of course, you don't give it to the Storm, but as long as you take it away from Bob, but there you go. Shanks just steps in, gives some mana to the Ember, and he'll be alright.
Twice now that they've lost their own bounty rune as well, with Jing able to claim this one. So, it's net worth lead. I was about to say starting to grow, but still basically neck and neck.
Bottom lane, and Ryu.
Uses the bounty rune on Avatar.
Could be in trouble, actually. Avatar mode wants to TP down, and they got... It was an aggressive attempt from Palace, and as soon as the Storm Spirit enters the lane, there's really nothing that Tiny can do. It's just inevitable at this stage, and he recognized that. Just try to kill some creeps before he dies.
A little bit too aggressive, and, you know, like we've been saying, any time that you can get aggressive, get some kills on this Doom without needing to use the Doom, it's a big win. I would say it's one of Enryu's top 3 heroes, so glad to see they're putting the faith in him to be able to pull out the W. In the DPC, we really did see for Neon. Obviously, they had a bit of a rougher time, but whenever they won, it always seemed like Enryu was the one to be popping off.
Yeah, Enryu's always been that shining star as bottom lane.
Although,
yeah, he's actually in trouble. No toss level for Palos, so play up in the face, but yeah, I think that's been the thing I've always been impressed by from Enryu, and when he did join Neon, let's hold that thought, Bob.
On for the chase.
Yeah, he's still going to get the clean kill. Now no remnants to play with as well for Bob, so really aggressive on the Ember Spirit, and Avatar mode cuts him down. Asa just steps in, yoink. He gets the last swipe, and he's happy.
Very happy to give that over to the TB though, right? Any little thing that just allows him to farm that jungle a bit more efficiently. Again, you know that you're going to have the Storm Spirit, the Nyx Assassin, and the Grimstroke looking to make rotations as soon as they can. So it's just about making space for the Doom, making space for the TB. They're hitting creeps. The other 3, they're hitting heroes.
Take a look again, though. It's Execration that putting a lot more emphasis on making stacks in their own jungle. So Palace is going to love life. And you see, Asta doesn't really have this capability. I think they had a double stack of the hard, nothing crazy. Tino might be in trouble top. Asta's not going to continue the chase, though. So there you go. First T1 tower of the game clean. And Tino gets a conversion with the Elder Dragon form.
Looking to go for the Echo Saber again on Palace. Not Moonshard this time around. So maybe just realizing that the Keeper of the Light is going to need to be using his Chakra Magic onto basically any of the other 3 heroes, right? Tiny doesn't quite have the same amount of value
Tino
for
top.
it. You need that.
He's going to be in trouble. The Sans prevents the Dragon Tail to get out of range of the stun combo. Is really cute attempt from Neon. It's unfortunate that Acid doesn't get the kill, but nonetheless, you do slow down Tino's game. Now bottom lane, Enryu might be in trouble. Bob's going to make his rotation, but the Grimstroke trying to TP. I don't know if Jin can really do much to offset the damage. The Silence holding Bob back. Doesn't have the Orb of Corrosion just yet. And look at Enryu. Oh, he's actually going to look to turn it. Okay, why not? First Doom of the game. And that's a big one as Enryu gets rid of Bob. Second death of the game. And the Ember is quite a hero that if you can have a time where you can snowball, then all of a sudden you can take over games. But it's not looking to be the case so far.
I actually like the fact, I'm not sure how much of it's coincidence and how much of it is a deliberate attempt of holding on to that Hill Troll Priest creep, right? He's got the heal component just for an extra 100 HP. It's actually a little bit more than that because of the heal amp aura. And it just means that you're a little bit more survivable than you would initially expect. Looking to try it again. Won't have the Doom this time around.
You're going to tippy Shanks bottom. Has Bob got corrosion? No, still looking for that. I wasn't sure if he maybe picked it up after the death. Nice use. Just baiting the crew wave. There was an obligation almost for Enryu's Doom to try and clear this off. Not again. Okay.
It's still so tanky though, right?
Yeah. It's not a naked Midas in a way. He's gone one soul ring, phase boots, bracer. So really wanting these early items here for the Doom to kind of make plays and at least not be this...
I was about to say, sorry, they smoked underneath this ward that was just covering the area in the mid lane, so Palace immediately pings it out. They know exactly where they are right now. They're even using this scan onto... Never mind, that was the Dire scan, trying to hunt out someone that might be farming. So, good read, but, you know, it's again just the benefit of... Actually, Bob placed that one down. I was about to give Vincenzo some more praise, but not this time.
Dire's bottom tower
You got
is under
Serpent Ward's
attack.
bottom with the catapult, so it looks like Execration should find their second T1 tower. Neon really struggling to open up the map. I guess this is a big issue of their lineup. As mid lane, though, zip in. Tino, nice Dragon Tail timing. All right. And they actually want to end the fight. Pelos stepping into the middle. Avatar mode's got to be cautious as Vincenzo getting closer and closer for the control. He's going to land the combo onto Enryu as the Doom ticks out, and H1 is going to join him in the afterlife as Neon giving away a couple of kills, and they're even going to look to train this into a third as Bob remnants over the tree line. You'd hate for it to be denied, and that won't be the case as Bob gets the kill. Another T1 tower soon to be besieged.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That was the real area of weakness that we were seeing throughout the entire draft, right? How do you take towers unless this Terrorblade has that perfect game? They tried to get the zip in with the Inkswell, of course. Nearly maxed out there by the Grimstroke, but quick reactions coming through from Tino, enabling that Dragon Tail stun onto Avatar mode. And they're actually going to be the ones that go for that counter smoke. Still got the Elder Dragon form for a couple of seconds. Don't think they'll run into anyone, but Vincenzo feels confident.
They got Blink?
Nah.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, yeah, you do. Tino. My bad.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bob's going to wrap around. You'll see Jing. You want Avatar mode. That's really the target you want. So Tino's not going to jump just yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, they get the
Get
kill.
one.
Off the map. Chuan also died solo to Palos. Looks like a warding expedition, and Palos going to give him the tip.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Zarkum.
How was that?
I think, dude, I'm chilling.
We don't have any towers going. That's the downside if you're a Neon fan right now. They're going to look to try and maybe use some of these illusions to start the push in, but it just feels like you're having to play so defensively right now because of the relatively strong laning stage that this Coddle plus DK set you up for.
Yeah, 3,000 net worth lead for Execration. 75%. Look at Bob. He's pushing Asta out of their own triangle, just chucking slides, chucking chains, because he knows Shanks, he's got maxed out Chakra, and he can just always keep them healthy in the resources. And this is giving Execration now. I think I don't know if it was the last series or we spoke about sometime today. It was actually about the moonshot, but we spoke about how just teams, they want to be able to stay out of the map. Staying out of the map means you get more experience, more gold. You're being able to potentially posture aggressively to take more objectives, but if you don't really have these items to keep yourself out of the map, then you're always making trips back to base, and we're seeing this be the case. Your Execration are always posturing aggressively to prevent Neon's farm, but we gotta fight up top. Avatar mode, along zip in for the instant hex. It's a beautiful double soulbind though, and Ryu's gonna try and step in with the Doom, but it's onto the support, so it's not the best target to bring down, but this is the best fight we've seen so far from Neon. Although I don't know if they're going to get any more out of it. This Bob playing on the outskirts, going to wait until the stuns expire, and then he can enter the middle. As Enryu.
He wants to devour.
Oh no, he wants it. He wants the extra gold. He might be able to find it. At least buys out for the blink, but Palos killing spree, and now after that, Yeah, why not go back for the stack?
Absolutely. You also see, like, with the purchase of that Blink, it means that he's not going this Midas.
Radiant's top
So
tower
he's got
is under
a
attack.
Gloves of Haste, basically doing not that much when you consider you're a Doom against all of this, right? Means that they want to continuously get aggressive. They feel like they haven't got the number of kills that they want to on the key targets. And if you're not getting kills, you're not getting towers, because TB at this stage can't afford to just stand there and try and free hit into a tower. The burst damage and Blink and turnaround potential is just way too strong on Execration.
Yeah, and we just saw that stack that Palace just took. It just gave him about 600 gold. So he just got the Shadow Blade delivered, and he's pretty much 250 gold, I should say, away from Ag Shot. So this is a ridiculous timing with his items.
Is here.
I think it's... You still, yeah, but Asta getting a lot of farm. Well, it's Dragonlance, Yasha. It's actually going to be opting into the Skadi instead of wanting to complete the Manta style. Dino bottom lane. He's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Is under attack.
Angry jump in. Jing's got the follow-up. It's still yet to have the Aghanim shard on Jing, and Chuan just yoinks that kill, feeling like they didn't have enough damage to get rid of the Dragon Knight, and with how close he was to the T1 tower, they didn't know if any reinforcements were starting to show up, but the attention's on top. Look at this.
Dire's top
Divide and
tower is
conquer,
under
that's all it
attack.
is right now. And, you know, this is kind of what I was... When I was suggesting the Nature's Prophet, this is kind of what I was expecting, right? You might be able to deal with someone, but not the rest.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Still a hero that I'm... Oh, Asta bottom lane. His teammates are starting to leave him, and Palace, he's perfect with the chain control, even Vincenzo if they needed it. And it's a well-deserved tip. Just a bit too aggressive on Asta, and Palace will penalize.
I don't think it's necessarily on him being too aggressive. They needed to take away that tier 1 tower, right? We saw what happened previously. You talked about Bob using the Sleight of Fist to just bully Asta out of his own triangle. So he needed somewhere else to be able to farm. You could see they've blocked up the camps as well.
In Avatar mode. Onto the Keeper of the Light of the backline. Shaco's instantly cancelled off as Avatar mode solely focusing the Coddle. But now Bob's able to enter once again. The long duration chains. They've got the control, and Ryu's going to be killed off next. A Doom completely wasted as Bob shows up to the fight in such a dramatic fashion.
Now, I don't want to be dramatic, but call it. I feel like it's getting pretty damn close to that stage. Palace just balling out of control right now, even with a double Doom onto these cores. What exactly does it do,
Dire's
you know?
bottom tower has fallen.
Feels like it needs to be the Ember Spirit
Dire's
+1
middle
that gets the
tower is
Doom onto
under
them.
attack.
Palos even going for the wraparound here. Seeing if he can find any pickoffs. Asta, he's
Oh,
trapped.
They're going to see Asta. And they instantly pounce. Once again, the chain control is something the Terrorblade cannot deal with without the BKBs. It just doesn't have the items also to sustain through it. Avatar mode, no, the instant Hex. Inkspell's going to buy him a little bit of time. The Tiny might be in trouble. Is there a way they can protect Palos at the moment? Maybe they can do so by getting rid of the life of Avatar mode. Hex to the last second, but the damage is lacking. It's up to Bob, but they need to refresh his abilities. He's playing on the other side as Ryu finds a catch and Avatar mode's in. So some signs of life for Neon. They get two. It's a buyback force from Jing, however.
You love the power to be able to curse any kind of result. I mean, it's still obviously heavily in the favor of Execration. Are they walking underneath vision at the moment? No. They're just pinging out the general location that they might be looking to play around. But yeah, you could just still see that's the reason why Asta hasn't been able to get out onto the map with anything but his illusions right now. He just gets bursted down, especially now that this Tiny has the Shadow Blade.
Oh no, poor
Oh,
Chuan.
no, Chuan.
So, the classic support dewarding expedition. Trying to venture into the jungle, see what he can do for the lads. It's a harmless attempt, but unfortunately giving away a little bit of gold and experience in our Execration with Serpent Wards. We're going to take Roshan.
Queued up the Aeon disc already for Chuan. He's tired of dying.
Zip in the middle. They're a bit of trouble on Tino. Avatar mode, he's got the damage. Alright, so Storm Spirit. You know, he's still 4-1 and 5. Like, he's having a pretty decent game. I know it's not represented in regards to their net worth.
He'll still get that Roshan though. Palace almost sitting up onto that level 18. It's 4 levels ahead of the Terrorblade at this stage of the game. And I was talking about those value early items, the simple bracer on Vincenzo just to give him a little bit more tankiness, and straight into the Blink Dagger after that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Run, sir. Looks like Bob.
You can run.
I see. Oh man, that's of course.
Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, at least honestly, the big thing is that I see just Jing has this Ag Shard now on the Grimstroke, and he's wasting time finding space, but
my people.
it's
okay.
okay.
Just a nice little solo kill.
Yeah, nothing crazy, just
You know-
tiny things, right?
I mean, you at least force Glyph out here.
I think you
Dyer's
get tier 2
structures
tower as
are
well.
Yeah,
Radiant
I was
structures are
considering, yep, the aggressive Glyph. Very good use out of that
I don't
one
know
there.
how they got him. Okay, well, they're going to jump on Chuan. I don't know how they saw him, to be honest, but they get the kill, and Palace. Yeah, they know Glyph. This is what we saw last game, and this tower's going to fall, and I think they might even get a Rax.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the Storm Spirit coming back up is a little bit dangerous, but I think unless you've got the Grimstroke there, you're not going to get a double Doom, and the
this
Spirit's being
hero.
very mindful.
It's not just a
Spirit's
Rax, they're
being
going to get
mindful
full
to stay away.
set, dude. What? I hate this hero. It's not even that, they're going for
Dyer's middle
top!
barracks has fallen.
Well, you just need to deal with it, you know, because this is the reality of Dota these days. Enryu, they're looking to make the play, but look at that. Bob just being able to get back at the perfect time. Just feels like every single play that they're making is being read entirely. They want to try and fight underneath this.
Zip into the
Observer
back
while they
line,
can.
Avatar mode. Headwind Chuan's going to get 1 kill, but can they trail this into any more? Doesn't have the most mana. They're going to be cautious. The Doom off for the western side, and Ryu trying to target down Tino. So it's going to be 2 quick pickoffs for Neon, but can they still continue to take the fight? Palace is exceptionally farm. BKB along with the Ages and now Vincenzo. All they needed was a little bit of control. But the main thing is that Asta, they're not on top of the Terrorblade. So finally he's able to start to do some damage. But they don't want to set themselves in a position where they're vulnerable for the second round. So Neon, they're just evacuating. As they'll lose Enryu, they'll lose Chuan, but that's a decent fight. 3 for 2 if you include the Ages.
I honestly don't include the Aegis at all, because you didn't need to use the BKB for that one either. Look at that. They just go for the instant smoke again, realizing that you're not going to have meta, you're not going to have Doom. And even Soulbind is a pretty significant factor here. Is where they're going to run into.
They saw Astra under the ward. They saw him under that ward. Again, Execration. Vision is king as Avatar mode tries to get there to cancel the control, but now he's rooted! Oh, he's rooted. It was a desperation play. It was a save your teammate syndrome in a way. Oh, no. It is painful.
Very suitable voice lines as well. That is so pain. But yeah, they could just look to put the pressure on.
lane,
Again, no
Tino.
Doom, no Soulbinds.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Doesn't matter. He's just playing distraction right now. Are you really worried about a Dragon Knight, or are you worried about a tiny, about 5 hitting your towers?
Dyer's bottom tower has fallen.
I agree. Sheesh.
Give us your best sheesh. Come on. No, like...
Dyer's bottom
Alright,
barracks
give us your
are
best
under
sheesh.
Up to you, Zuma.
Dyer's bottom barracks has fallen.
Why is it all on me now?
Never refuse
Because it's not my culture. It's cultural appropriation if I do it.
What? Of course, you would do that. Palace is level 20, or it's 23 minutes in.
Yeah.
Pal, 21. He's level 21 now. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop.
Mhm.
I'll stop. Yeah, Bob has a Ag Scepter. So I mean, we haven't seen the Coddle Ember pairing honestly in. We see it here and there. Like it's through the start of Division 2, sorry, through the start of 202, I should say, a lot of teams were trying to pick this up, but Execration have shown that it's still a very strong combo.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah,
If
just taking
Palace
out
is
everything.
alone, I don't think they kill him. I don't think... Okay, maybe with Doom. Okay, maybe they do kill
Eternal Blade
him.
does a lot.
Let's see if he's going to stand his ground. Turn Avatar mode almost gets cleaved. Now Bob's got to be cautious. He's got 3 remnants to play with along with a BKB, but the rest of Execration starting to show up to the party as they're onto the Terrorblade. The chain control, but Asa with a Sunder opportunity. He can't lock onto a target. He wasn't in range with anyone. Now Enryu's TP just gets cancelled as Bob, that last second sight, thanks to the Arcane to amplify his power. And yep, they're going to call it. Palos gives a weird GG as Neon, unfortunately today, it will be 2-0. It is Execration, Danog. They are continuing on with their dominant phase 1 into phase 2 now.
Where was this a couple of months ago during the
don't say
DPC,
that.
my man? I mean, they were my sleeper pick. They were the dark horse to be able to have a decent time, and they did. They took plenty of games off high-tier teams. They just weren't able to really put it all together. So hopefully this is the start of something good for them moving forward. Well, Execration, like you said, very clean. 2-0 victory, 25 minutes. You just got to ban the Tiny, man. How does it get through so many times?
Yeah, I mean, even... I think they have done a very good job to play around the Tiny, though. Like, we saw the stacks that they're able to create, both Game 1 and Game 2, was very important for Palos to be able to get a head start in this game. And we just saw how they're able to play around kind of the early stages as well. And something that we saw was an issue for Neon is they didn't have ways to take objectives. And this is the advantage that Execration have. You've got Serpent Wards, you've got Elder Dragon form. They were able to convert on towers very early on with those ultimates. It opened up the map. They could get aggressive with those timings. And that's something we spoke about. Like, yes, you picked both Game 1 and Game 2, you picked a very good carry-to-carry matchup versus the Tiny, but that's really at the later stages, and even at the later stages, it can be bearable. There's always windows, and Tiny proving if you can get off to a rocket start, then it really doesn't matter who you're versing.
Yeah, I think it was a number of things. Mid lane going much better than expected, but the bigger thing for mine was probably I mentioned that they needed to be this roaming trio of the Storm Spirit, plus the Grimstroke, plus the Nyx Assassin. And I believe they needed to do that before the Blink Dagger came out for the Dragon Knight. That happened at around 13 and a half, 14 minutes. When he picked up the Blink Dagger, DK had 3 kill involvements, and in the next couple of minutes, that had jumped up to 6. So he really made use of his timings on Tino, rotating through with the rest of the team. You had a Shadow Blade at that time on the Tiny as well. Ember Spirit getting crazy active, and in that same amount of time, Storm, Grim, Nyx, they weren't really doing too much there. Not really taking advantage of what's good. And like I mentioned, without getting those kills, you don't get towers, you don't get farm, you allow the enemy team to just continuously pressure you. And that's exactly what Execration did.
Well, we are done and dusted for day 2 of phase 2. Some solid games we had today. You've seen 2 2-0s. We had a 1-1 tie as well. So definitely Army Geniuses and Execration, the bigger winners of today. Tomorrow, we're going to be starting at the same time, 1 p.m. Singapore. We've got Neon versus Motivate Trust, Execration versus Motivate, and then RSG versus Execration. So some very hype series tomorrow. Again, starting at the same time, 1 p.m. Singapore.